Namaskar and welcome to Public Forum. I am Charu Kartikeya. On a day when the focus of the national press continues to be terror and the terror attacks in Hyderabad, two states in the northeast quietly went for polls today. Nagaland and Meghalaya, both having 60-member assemblies, went to polls today. The polling was reported to be largely peaceful, and according to preliminary reports, the voter turnout has also been high, at least 85% plus turnout in both these states. In this edition of Public Forum, I'll be trying to find out, with the help of various experts sitting in the studio here with me today, what are the issues that form the basis of the electoral campaigning in both these states, and where do these elections seem headed. So all of that and much more in this edition of Public Forum. And in the studio with me in this edition of Public Forum is a distinguished panel of experts, all of them a rare group of journalists with their focus on developments in the northeastern part of the country. On my extreme left, Nishit Dholabai, special correspondent with The Telegraph. Nishit, thank you so much for coming here. Next to Nishit is Mr. Abhay N. Jha, your senior editor with Northeast Mail. Mr. Jha, thank you so much for coming here. Right here with me is Mr. Deepak Devan, executive editor with Northeast Sun. Mr. Devan, thank you so much for coming here. And right here with me is Mr. G Suresh, senior journalist, who's been following Northeastern affairs for a very long time. Mr. Suresh, thank you so much to you too. Mr. Suresh, we've seen this in election after election in Nagaland. I mean, the Naga issue essentially remains unresolved, and it's very status quo. It's very status quo. The fact that it remains unresolved becomes an electoral plank in every successive election. Was it the same this time around too?
But very frankly, you see, I have a different perspective. I believe that while there is no doubt that the Naga issue needs to be resolved, since 2007 there has been a ceasefire, and after that, you know, 97, sorry. 97. But the fact also remains that the people want development there. You see, people are also fed up with, you know, the intimidation, the extortion. I mean, now, first they had to pay one faction. Today, you have to pay three factions. The NSC and IM was there. Then there is a Kaplang was, created to counter the IM. Then, you created now you have a unification, NSC. And so people are basically fed up with all this. People want peace. No doubt there is a sentiment for a greater Nagaland. They are not even now talking about a separate Nagaland, as a separate country. Rather, they are talking about a greater Nagaland.
A greater Naga footprint throughout the region.
Yeah, within the region. But there also, I think that slowly even senior politicians are realizing that is not going to be a very practical solution. For the simple reason that they are accepting that you cannot have people, killing people creating economic blockade and getting it from states like Manipur and, Arunachal. It is only through goodwill that, if at all something comes through, it can be created. It cannot be created by force. That I think the people have realized. So I think that the people want peace, the people want, and I also felt during my travels there that there is a greater, this sense of alienation, though we discuss it a lot. I think that more and more young people are identifying themselves as Indians, which is a very welcome phenomena that they see. They say we are Indians, we want as much rights as any other Indian, we want this, as much development as any other Indian. I think that they have reconciled to this fact that they are part of the larger Indian, and of course there are elements which don't want these sentiments to prevail. They are trying to create.
But what are they more interested in still? Are they more interested still in increasing the Naga footprint throughout the region?
No violence,
or they are more interested in development?
You see, as such, there is no overt violence. After the ceasefire. But what you see is, as I said, intimidation is there, extortion is there, and that is all creating a lot of, development infrastructure. These are issues over which I think that the common Naga is also equally interested.
I think, Mr. Suresh, the Naga People's Front, the party which has been in power for about a decade there, and Chief Minister Nephew Rio, it has been widely reported that the greater Nagaland issue, the increasing, the expansion of the Naga footprint in the region was the main plank that Nephew Rio has been playing upon as far as the electoral campaigns are concerned. What is the NPF's focus?
Obviously, you see, it's a regional party. And they always blame the Congress for, playing the central, game, whatever they call it, that, they are not interested about Nagaland at all. and that only we can advocate that cause. That is the sentiment, the aspiration that that they try to cash in on. And vis-a-vis a national party which is only promoting advancing India's interest as against our interest. But the irony, as Mr. Jha rightly put it, is that say the eastern areas where you have these 4 districts with 45% population, 6 major tribes, there what is on the one side we are talking about unification of the entire the greater Nagaland, and on the other side you have 4 districts asking for a separate state. They are asking for frontier Nagaland, a separate state in itself. So that shows that what they propagate and what is the ground level disillusionment. The ground level, it is as much the demand for development, the demand for infrastructure, the demand for the regional aspirations. It is no more. Yes, it is a sentimental issue, greater Nagaland and the Naga issue, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, there is growing awareness. You see, the people are now talking about, okay, that is all right, but in your area there is development, in my area there is no development. You see, these are the contradictions that this kind of an ideology faces at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That this is like what it's a situation akin to what you find in Telangana, and it may not be an exaggeration, but an example is that the Telangana case.
Yeah.
So I think that this development factor is something that we need to really pay attention to, and only just talk about sentiment and regional aspirations is not the issue. The issue at large is that people are concerned, and if any party goes there and proves its sincerity. But what is unfortunate, that unlike in Tripura, what we saw, where the parties were trying to take credit for ending insurgency, they did not play footsie with the separatists. Here what you see is that they are trying to placate them. That is the difference.
Okay. So all of that on the other side of this break. Stay tuned to Public Forum.